Business vocabulary in use. Intermediate. Unit 1.
A. What do you do? To find out what someone's job is, you ask, what do you do? Kirsten talks about her job.
I work for a large European car maker. I work on car design. In fact, I run the design department and I manage a team of designers. 20 people work under me. It's very interesting. One of my main responsibilities is to make sure that new model designs are finished on time. I'm also in charge of design budgets. I deal with a lot of different people in the company. I'm responsible for coordination between design and production. I work with managers at our manufacturing plants.
Note. In charge of plus noun. Responsible for plus verb plus ing. Responsibility plus infinitive or ing. One of my responsibilities is to make sure that. One of my responsibilities is making sure that. You don't say, I'm a responsible. B. Word combinations with work. If you work or have work, you have a job. But you don't say that someone has a work. Work is also the place where you do your job. You don't say, for example, at the work or to the work. Here are some phrases with work. The economy is growing fast and more people are in work, have a job, than ever before. The percentage of people out of work, without a job, has fallen to its lowest level for 30 years. Frank talks about his job.
I work in a bank in New York City. I leave for work at 7:30 every morning. I go to work by train and subway. I get to, or arrive at work at about 9. I'm usually at work till 6. Luckily, I don't get ill very much, so I don't often take time off work, away from work due to illness.
C. Types of job and types of work.
A full-time job is one for the whole of the normal working week. A part-time job is for less time than that. You say that someone works full-time or part-time. A permanent job does not finish after a fixed period. A temporary job finishes after a fixed period. You talk about temporary work and permanent work.
Unit 2.
A. Working hours.
I'm an office worker in an insurance company. It's a 9-to-5 job with regular working hours. I need my swipe card to get into the office. The work isn't very interesting, but I like to be able to go home at a reasonable time.
Note. You can also say clock in and clock out. Note. British English, flexi time. American English, flex time.
I'm in computer programming. There's a system of flexi-time in my company, which means we can work when we want, within certain limits. We can start at any time till 11 and finish as early as 3, as long as we do enough hours each month. It's ideal for me, as I have 2 young children.
I work in a car plant. I work in shifts and I have to clock on and clock off at the beginning and end of every shift. I may be on the day shift one week and the night shift the next week. It's difficult changing from one shift to another. When I change shifts, I have problems changing to a new routine for sleeping and eating. When the company is selling lots of cars, they ask us to work overtime, more hours than usual for more money.
I'm a commercial artist in an advertising agency.
unlike most other people in my department who commute to work every day, I work from home and avoid the long journeys that some commuters experience every day. That's the benefit of teleworking, or telecommuting, working from home and using the computer and phone to communicate with other people.
B. Nice work if you can get it.
All these words are used in front of job and work. Satisfying, stimulating, fascinating, exciting. The work is interesting and gives you positive feelings. Dull, boring, uninteresting, unstimulating. The work is not interesting. Repetitive, routine. The work involves doing the same things again and again. Tiring, tough, hard, demanding. The work is difficult and makes you tired.
C. Nature of work. My work involves plus noun or plus ing. I like, dislike, prefer, or enjoy plus noun or plus ing.
My work involves long hours.
My work involves teamwork.
My work involves working with figures.
I like human contact. I like solving problems.
I dislike human contact.
I dislike working with figures. I prefer teamwork.
I prefer dealing with customers.
I enjoy solving problems.
Unit 3.
A. Recruitment. The process of finding people for particular jobs is recruitment, or, especially in American English, hiring. Someone who has been recruited is a recruit, or in American English, a hire. The company employs or hires them, and they join the company. A company may recruit employees directly, or use outside recruiters, recruitment agencies, or employment agencies. Outside specialists, called headhunters, may be used to find people for very important jobs, and to persuade them to leave the organizations they already work for. Key people recruited like this are headhunted in a process of headhunting. B. Applying for a job.
Fred is an accountant, but he was fed up with his old job. He looked in the situations vacant pages of his local newspaper where a local supermarket was advertising for a new accountant's position. He applied for the job by completing an application form and sending it in. Harry is a building engineer. He'd been working for the same company for 10 years, but he wanted a change. He looked at jobs with different engineering companies on a jobs website. He made an application, sending in his CV, curriculum vitae, a document describing your education, qualifications and previous jobs that you send to a prospective employer, and a covering letter explaining why he wanted the job and why he was the right person for it.
Note: situation, post and position are formal words often used in job advertisements and applications. British English, CV. American English, resume or resume. British English, covering letter. American English, cover letter. C. Selection procedures.
Dagmar Schmidt is the head of recruitment at a German telecommunications company. She talks about the selection process, the methods that the company uses to recruit people.
We advertise in national newspapers and on the internet. We look at the backgrounds of applicants, their experience of different jobs, and their educational qualifications.
Note: Internet is sometimes written with a capital letter when it is a noun. Internet. Noun. Mostly British English. Internet. Noun. Mostly American English.
We invite the most interesting candidates to a group discussion. Then we have individual interviews with each candidate. The head of the department is also present. We also give the candidates written psychometric tests to assess their intelligence and personality. After this, we shortlist 3 or 4 candidates. We check their references by writing to their referees, previous employers, teachers, and so on that candidates have named in their applications. If the references are okay, we ask the candidates to come back for more interviews. Finally, we offer the job to someone, and if they turn it down, we have to think again. Some applicants may get other job offers at the same time as ours. If they accept it, we hire them. We appoint someone only if we find the right person.
Unit 4.
A. Education and training. 2 company managers, Kasia Gutowska and Nils Olsen, are talking.
The trouble with graduates, people who've just left university, is that their paper qualifications are good. They might have qualifications in interesting subjects, but they have no work experience. They just don't know how business works.
I disagree. Education should teach people how to think, not train them for a particular job. One of last year's recruits graduated from Oxford University with a degree in philosophy, and she's doing very well.
Philosophy is an interesting subject, but for our company, it's more useful to do training in a practical subject. It's better for us if you train as a scientist and qualify as a biologist or a doctor, for example.
Yes, but we don't just need scientists. We also need good managers, which we can achieve through in-house training, courses within the company. You know, we put a lot of money into management development, where managers regularly go on specialized courses in leadership.
See Unit 10.
Finance,
See Unit 38.
etc. You need to acquire experience, get knowledge through doing things for that. It's not the sort of thing you can learn when you're 20.
Note: in American English, you can also say that someone graduates from high school, the school that people usually leave when they are 18. Note: a master's degree is a qualification you can get after 1 or 2 years of graduate study. A Master's of Business Administration, MBA, is a master's degree in advanced business studies. B. Skilled and unskilled. A skill is a particular ability to do something well, especially because you have learned and practiced it. Jobs, and the people who do them, can be described as highly skilled. For example, car designer. Skilled. For example, car production manager. Semi-skilled. For example, taxi driver. Or unskilled. For example, car cleaner. You can say that someone is skilled at, or skilled in, plus noun, or plus ing.
Skilled at customer care.
Skilled in communicating.
Skilled at electronics.
Skilled in using Excel.
You can also say that someone is good with something.
Good with computers.
Good with figures.
Good with people.
C. The right person. These words are often used in job advertisements. Companies look for people who are
A. Methodical, systematic, and organised, working in a planned, orderly way. B. Computer literate, good with computers. C. Numerate, good with numbers. D. Motivated, very keen to do well in their job because they find it interesting. E. Talented, very good at what they do. F. Self-starters, they must be proactive, self-motivated, or self-driven, good at working on their own. G. Team players, people who work well with other people.
Note. Self-starter and team player are nouns. The other words in bold are adjectives.
Unit 5.
A. Wages, salary, and benefits. My name's Luigi, and I'm a hotel manager in Venice. I get paid a salary every month. In summer, we're very busy, so we do overtime. Work a lot of extra hours. The pay for this is quite good. Working in a hotel, we also get some nice perks. For example, free meals.
I'm Ivan, and I work as a waiter in Prague. I like my job, even if I don't earn very much. I get paid wages every week by the restaurant. We get the minimum wage, the lowest amount allowed by law. But we also get tips, money that customers leave in addition to the bill. Some tourists are very generous.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and I'm a saleswoman in luxury goods based in Paris. I get a basic salary, plus commission, a percentage on everything I sell. If I sell more than a particular amount in a year, I also get a bonus, which is nice. There are some good fringe benefits with this job. I get a company car, a BMW. There's a health plan to pay the costs of medical treatment if I get ill. And the company makes payments for my pension, money that I'll get regularly after I stop working. So with the bonuses, the car, the health plan, and the pension, I've got a very nice benefits package. And the working conditions are good too. I have a nice office, and I don't have to travel too much.
B. Compensation 1.
Catherine mentioned her pay and conditions. Remuneration and compensation are formal words used to talk about pay and conditions, especially those of senior managers. Remuneration package and compensation package are used especially in the US to talk about all the pay and benefits that employees receive. For a senior executive, this may include share options, British English, or stock options, American English. The right to buy the company's shares,
See Unit 36.
at low prices. There may be performance-related bonuses if the manager reaches particular objectives for the company.
C. Compensation 2.
Compensation is also used to talk about money and other benefits that someone receives if they are forced to leave the organisation, perhaps after a disagreement with other managers in what newspapers call a boardroom row. This money is in the form of a compensation payment or severance payment. If someone also receives benefits with this, the payment and the benefits form a compensation package or severance package. In Britain, Executives with very high pay and benefits may be referred to as fat cats, implying that they do not deserve this level of remuneration.
Unit 6.
A. Employees and management. Management.
CEO, finance, marketing,
White-collar workers.
white-collar workers,
Manual or blue-collar workers.
manual or blue-collar workers, supervisor, shop floor, labour,
The people who work for a company are on its payroll. They are its employees, personnel, staff, workers, or workforce. These words can also refer just to the people carrying out the work of a company, rather than the management, those leading and organising the company. Note: workforce, workforce, and workforce are all possible. B. Management and administration.
A company's activities may be spread over different sites in different places. A company's most important managers usually work in its head office or headquarters, HQ. Some managers have their own individual offices, but often employees work in open plan offices, large areas where many people work. Administration, or informally admin, the ordinary work supporting a company's activities, is often done in offices like these by administrative staff or support staff. For example, those giving technical help to buyers of the company's products are in technical support.
C. Labour.
You use labour to talk about everyone except the management who works for a company, especially a company that makes things.
Note: British English, labour. American English, labour. Labour costs.
What companies have to pay for labour rather than materials, etc.
Labour dispute.
A disagreement between management and labour.
Labour leader.
someone in charge of an organisation that represents workers.
Labour relations.
The relationship between management and employees in general.
Labour shortage.
A period when there are not enough people available to work.
Labour unrest.
A period of disagreement between management and employees.
Labour unions, American English, and trade unions, British English, defend the interests of workers. When workers are not happy with pay or conditions, they may take industrial action. A strike, stoppage, or walkout. Workers stop working for a time. A go slow. Workers continue to work, but more slowly than usual. Or an overtime ban. Workers refuse to work more than the normal number of hours.
D. Personnel and HRM.
In larger organisations, there is a human resources department, HRD, that deals with pay, recruitment, etc. This area is called Human Resources, HR, or Human Resource Management, HRM. Another older name for this department is the Personnel Department.
Unit 7.
A. Career paths. Many people used to work for the same organisation until they reached retirement, the age at which people retire, end their working life. Career paths were clear. you could work your way up the career ladder, getting promotion to jobs that were more senior, more important, with greater responsibility. You would probably not be demoted, moved to a less senior job. B. Company structure.
Like many other companies, Teletalia has reorganized and restructured in order to become flatter, with fewer layers of management, and leaner, with fewer, more productive employees. The number of management levels in the company hierarchy has been reduced and many managers have lost their jobs. In other words, to reduce costs and cut the payroll,
See Unit 6.
Teletalia has downsized and de-layered. The company said that downsizing and restructuring were necessary to reduce costs, increasing efficiency and profits.
C. In-house staff or freelancers.
Companies that downsize often outsource many jobs previously done by in-house personnel. Outside companies clean the offices, transport goods, and collect money from customers. This allows the companies to concentrate on their main business activities. Downsized companies use more freelancers, independent people who work for several different companies, or they may ask contractors to work for short periods on temporary contracts. They often expect flexibility, with people moving to different jobs when necessary. But for many employees, this means job insecurity, the feeling that they may not be in their job for long. The way that an employee is doing their job is discussed at performance reviews, regular meetings with their manager.
Note, you can say freelancers or freelances. D. Leaving a company.
To leave a company, you can resign or hand in your notice. If you do something wrong and are forced to leave a company, you are dismissed, terminated, fired, or sacked, or given the sack. If you've done nothing wrong, you are laid off, made redundant, or offered early retirement.
Note, you can also say that someone's contract has been terminated. Fired, sacked, and given the sack are informal expressions. Sacked and given the sack are British English only.
Employees who are made redundant may get outplacement, advice about how to find another job, retraining, etc.
Unit 8.
A. Discrimination. If people are treated differently from each other in an unfair way, they are discriminated against. If a woman is unfairly treated just because she is a woman, she is a victim of sex discrimination. In many organizations, women complain about the glass ceiling that prevents them from getting further than a particular level. If someone is treated unfairly because of their race, they are a victim of racial discrimination, or racism. Offensive remarks about someone's race are racist, and the person making them is a racist. Equal opportunities, positive discrimination, or affirmative action is when help is given in education and employment to groups who were previously discriminated against. Some companies have a dignity at work policy, covering all the issues described in A and B. Note, British English, equal opportunities. British English or American English, positive discrimination. American English, affirmative action. B. Bullying and harassment.
If someone such as a manager bullies an employee, they use their position of power to hurt or threaten the employee. Someone who does this is a bully. The bullying can often be verbal. Sexual harassment is when an employee behaves sexually towards another in a way that they find unwelcome and unacceptable. The related verb is harass.
C. Health and safety.
Health and safety issues for people at work contribute to a bad working environment. The government sends officials called health and safety inspectors to make sure that factories and offices are safe places to work. They check what companies are doing in areas like A. Passive smoking, B. Repetitive strain injury, or RSI, C. Dangerous machinery, D. Hazardous substances, E. Fire hazards, F. Heating and air conditioning, G. First aid. Of course, dangerous machinery and hazardous substances can cause industrial accidents.
Note: compensation, see Unit 5, can also be used to mean money or other benefits that someone receives after an injury caused by a work accident.
Unit 9.
A. Managers and executives, UK.
Fun and sun holidays.
Management organogram.
Non-executive directors. Chairman or chairwoman. Chief executive or managing director.
Senior executives or top executives or executive directors.
Chief financial director or finance director. Marketing director. Human resources director. IT director. Research director.
Middle managers.
Accounts department manager. Sales manager. Customer services manager. Line managers in travel agency branches. All the directors together are the board. They meet in the boardroom. Non-executive directors are not managers of the company. They are outsiders, often directors of other companies with specialist knowledge of the industry or of particular areas. The marketing director is the head of marketing. The IT director is head of IT, etc. These people head or head up their departments. Informally, the head of an activity, a department, or an organization is its boss. An executive, or informally an exec, is usually a high-level manager, as in senior executive.
Note: executive can be used in other contexts to suggest luxury, as in executive car and executive home. It can even be used for things that are not actually used by executives. B. Managers and executives, US. Non-executive directors.
President. Chief Executive Officer, CEO. Chief Operating Officer, COO.
Senior executives, or top executives, or executive directors.
Chief Financial Officer, CFO. Vice President, VP, Marketing. Vice President, VP, Human Resources. Vice President, VP, Research.
In the US, the top position may be that of chairman, chairwoman, or president. This job is often combined with the position of chief executive officer, CEO. Some companies have a chief operating officer to take care of the day-to-day running of the company. The finance director may be called the chief financial officer, CFO. In a US company, the senior managers in charge of particular areas are often called vice presidents, VPs.
Unit 10.
A. Business people and entrepreneurs.
A businessman, businesswoman, or business person is someone who works in their own business or as a manager in an organization. An entrepreneur is someone who starts or founds or establishes their own company. Someone who starts a company is its founder. An entrepreneur may found a series of companies or startups. Entrepreneurial is used in a positive way to describe the risk-taking people who do this and their activities. Some entrepreneurs leave the companies they found, perhaps going on to found more companies. Others may stay to develop and grow their businesses.
Note: the plural of business person is business people. Business person and business people can be spelled as two words. Business person, business people. Found is a regular verb. Past tense and past participle are founded. Establishment is used to talk about the act of founding something, as well as a particular organization or part of one. Some English speakers believe it is not correct to use grow as a transitive verb in this context. Note: entrepreneur is used in combinations, such as internet entrepreneur. B. Leaders and leadership.
A large group of companies mainly owned by one person or family is a business empire. Successful business people, especially heads of large organizations, are business leaders, or in slightly old-fashioned journalistic terms, captains of industry. There is a lot of discussion about whether people like this are born with leadership skills or whether these can be taught.
C. Magnates, moguls, and tycoons.
People in charge of big business empires may be referred to, especially by journalists, as magnates, moguls, or tycoons. These words often occur in combinations such as these: media magnate, property mogul, or software tycoon.
Unit 11.
A. Business and businesses.
Business is the activity of producing, buying, and selling goods and services. A business, company, or firm, or more formally, a concern, is an organization that sells goods or services. Large companies considered together are referred to as big business. You can talk about a company or a particular activity as an enterprise, especially to emphasize its risk-taking nature. Businesses vary in size, from the self-employed person working on their own, through the small or medium enterprise, SME, to the large multinational with activities in several countries. A large company, especially in the US, is a corporation. The adjective is corporate, used to talk about a big company, or big companies in general. Corporate is often used in these combinations.
Corporate culture.
The way a company's employees think and act.
Corporate ladder.
The different levels of management in a company.
Corporate headquarters.
A company's main office.
Corporate logo.
A symbol used by a company on its products, advertising, etc.
Corporate image.
All the ideas, opinions, etc. that people have about a company.
Corporate profits.
The money made by companies.
B. Commerce. Commerce is used to refer to business in relation to other fields, literature, politics, and commerce. For government departments that deal with business, U.S. Department of Commerce. In the names of organizations that exist to help business, Chambers of Commerce. Or to refer to business on the Internet, electronic commerce, or e-commerce. The adjective commercial describes money-making business activities. For example, commercial airline, commercial artist, commercial disaster. C. Enterprise.
In 1970s Britain, there were state-owned or government-owned companies in many different industries, such as car manufacturing. Some industries, such as coal and electricity, had been nationalised. They were entirely state-owned. In the 1980s, the Thatcher government believed that nationalised companies were inefficient, so many of them were privatised by selling them to investors. Supporters of privatisation believed that bureaucracy, the system for running government departments, with its rigid rules and slow decisions, was not good for business. State-run companies were too bureaucratic. Enterprise is used in a positive way to talk about business, emphasising the use of money to invest in new activities with a certain amount of risk involved. Enterprise is often used in these combinations.
Free enterprise. Private enterprise.
Business activity owned by individuals rather than the state.
Enterprise culture.
When people are encouraged to make money through their own activities and not rely on the government.
Enterprise economy.
An economy where there is an enterprise culture.
Enterprise zone.
Part of a country where business is encouraged because there are less strict laws, lower taxes, etc.
Unit 12.
A. Self-employed people and partnerships.
Oscar is a freelance graphic designer, a freelancer. He likes the freedom of working for himself. To use the official term, he's a sole trader. People such as designers and journalists are freelancers,
See Unit 7.
whereas builders and plumbers are normally referred to as being self-employed. Jane and Miranda are architects who have set up their own architecture partnership. A lot of professional people, like lawyers, accountants, and so on, work in partnerships. They are partners. There are no shareholders
See Unit 32.
in the organisation apart from the two of them.
Note, sole owner and sole proprietor are both used in British English and American English. Sole trader is not used in the US. B. Limited liability.
Jane and her partners have limited liability. If the partnership goes bankrupt, runs out of money, the people to whom the partnership owes money can take the company's assets to pay the debts. But they can't take personal assets, such as the partners' houses or cars. It's a limited liability partnership, LLP. John Robertson is managing director and main shareholder of a small electronics company in Scotland called Advanced Components Limited. Limited means limited company, with limited liability. Howard Schultz is president of Starbucks Inc. Inc. stands for Incorporated. This shows that it is a corporation, used especially in the US for companies with limited liability, and also used in the UK in the names of some big companies. Some British companies include PLC as part of their name. This means that the company is a public limited company, and its shares are bought and sold on the stock exchange.
See Unit 36. C. Mutuals. Some companies, like certain life insurance companies, are mutuals. People buying insurance with the company are its members, and there are no shareholders. Profits are theoretically owned by the members. In Britain, there are mutuals called building societies, which lend money to people who want to buy a house. But a lot of building societies are changing into public limited companies with shareholders. Many have demutualized in a process of demutualization. See Unit 35. D. Non-profit organizations.
Organizations with social aims, such as helping those who are sick or poor or encouraging artistic activity, are non-profit organizations, British English, or not-for-profit organizations, American English. They are also called charities and form the voluntary sector. They rely heavily on volunteers, unpaid workers. For example, a charity like Médecins Sans Frontières is managed by paid professionals, and together they put a lot of effort into fundraising activities. These activities encourage people to give or donate money, clothes, food, or time to help the organisation. These donations are essential for the organisation to do its work.